Hi, I'm Inez Barberio, and welcome back to Core Growth Strategies, Positivity, and Success Stories. My next guest is best described as a go-getter, following her inner calling to be her true authentic self. Shinjini is breaking the mold of how a female of color, intelligence, and strength should be perceived. I am honored and so excited to have her on my show today. Good morning, Shinji. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Inez. You're amazing. And I was just telling you this before we started recording, but you're such a boss and you inspire me on many levels. So I'm just stoked.
Hey, coming from you, that is such an honor to hear because you do have an incredibly large following and you are out there. You're speaking your mind. You're not afraid to tell people how you feel or challenges you face. So you're like, clearly, I'm all about authentic people and you are right up there with them. So thank you for being so open and sharing your life to the media, to the world.
Thank you. Yes, it's brave. I definitely get pushback, especially from family, who are like, why are you telling everybody this? But,
Right.
I just want to say, like, anybody who does it, and I know a lot of influencers do that now and just they are very real. It's not really for me. Like, I'm not trying to, I think there's sometimes it's misconstrued that she's venting, she needs a boyfriend. Like,
Yes.
that's not the purpose. So,
Right.
not like you're never soliciting anything,
Mhm.
but I'm trying to connect with those women who also are struggling to find love, right? Or those
Yes.
women who are struggling to manage their career. So I think that's the purpose. So sometimes I get the whole, why are you doing this? And you're venting, or do you need help? And I'm like, no, this is not about me. It's about everybody else who's also struggling, but maybe they don't even feel comfortable to tell that to one person, much less I'm now at 2 million views a month on Twitter.
Wow.
That many people. So I just want to say that.
No, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you share it because, and what you just said is so important because there are a lot of times, sometimes if I post something, same thing, the reaction is, and it's more so from people that know me, they think
Yeah.
I'm either venting or putting a dig at someone or I'm upset about something. I'm like, no, like you don't understand. There's a lot of people that have these feelings. And then when they hear it from me or
Yeah.
you or people that they're following, they feel better. Like, oh, you know what? I'm not alone in this. I can get through this.
Yes. And it's one thing, which is why I actually don't try to explain a lot of things to people. And I don't know if you saw this, but I did post about this, that I don't owe anybody an explanation, about my business model, about my, like, you're not my manager, you're not my boss. I mean, why do I have to tell you? How
And
does
that goes a lot. There's a lot to be said about that because in society, right, we are very hung up on labels. We're hung
Yes,
up on where you went to school, what
yes,
degrees you have,
yes.
whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, what you do for a living, what group of people you hang out with, if
Yes.
you're a celebrity, like all these things,
Yeah.
it gets frustrating at times because I do write for a magazine in New York, which
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity correspondent. So I had the opportunity to meet a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
It's funny where sometimes when new people meet me, I try and converse with them. They have no interest in me, but then when they find out, oh wait, so and so, and you write, suddenly they're interested. And it's kind of like, so suddenly I'm interesting, but before I wasn't.
Well, and it's so funny because now there's so much noise in my life that the more I'm like getting into all this, and social media is a part of it, I'm like, this is all fake. And in some ways, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I just want to create my own lane. So it's frustrating. And I've already experienced some of it, just very
Yeah.
fake, very
And,
fake.
but I think that goes with success too. Like as the more we grow as
Yeah.
people, we're more comfortable with ourselves,
Right.
but those around us who have not grown are not. And that's where the noise comes from.
Totally, absolutely, and it's one of those things you almost feel bad,
Yeah.
that all you care about is like how much money they have, and it's just crazy. I laugh now. It's actually comic, like just pleasure for me, because it's funny,
Well, even on you're right, because on the media, they'll have these experts on,
Right, right.
and they're talking about subject matters that they are really not involved with. They probably just Google themselves and say, okay, let me see what I could talk about. And it's frustrating.
Yes, I guess that's my like concern is why can't we have like an engineer on TV? Like that
Exactly.
was how everything actually was born. I know we'll get into this, but that was my number one question is why do we have to have half-assed things,
Mhm.
right? Why can't we have, Inez talking about emotional intelligence on celeb TV? Like why is that like not kosher, right? Because that's probably not kosher, right? It's you're not talking about her dress, right? But my point is
Exactly.
more to it than that. So in
Yet, if you stick a celebrity who, I bet you if some, like, I'm not gonna name any celebrity names, but if like a big celebrity and they bring up engineering or emotional intelligence, suddenly, oh, and they can talk about it when they have no background in it whatsoever.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to change. And obviously there are women who are doing amazing things, and I love them, and they're awesome. But somehow I just feel like, and maybe you agree with this, a lot of even actresses, there's some of them are lawyers, some of them literally for law. Literally in her bio, there's one. I think she wrote past lawyer or something like that, like ex-lawyer. And I'm like, why are you like you're this awesome like person and who has a huge following? Why are you now an ex-lawyer? Like why can't we embrace it? Because I think that was also my problem is that the two people, right, who are lawyers and ex-doctors, they're ex-doctors, right? But even if you give up your credentials, like you still got the MD, right?
Yeah.
That's my concern, because when girls, especially girls, right, are seeing the magazine covers and all, their only aspirations are models,
Yeah.
actresses, dancers, and that's pretty much it. And now I guess comedians, which obviously is very you gotta think well and everything, but where like a lot of them don't have degrees, right? A lot of them so is that what we're preaching? Is that leave everything, try to be famous? That's the only way.
It seems like it. And I think there's so much good that comes out of social media. I mean, that's how you and I met. And
For
I met,
sure.
right, and I met so many incredible people on social media. But the overwhelming majority is that they're looking at people to look up to in terms of how they look and what they dress and what they're driving and what they're flashing. And that's so true. Like how do we kind of like, I don't want to, it's not to put those people down, but it's like kind of help them say, you know what, no, there's so much more to life, because when they're not able to achieve that type of materialistic status, then they feel down about themselves.
Right. Totally. No, it's and again, I'm someone who literally loves everyone, right? Unless you are like a criminal or doing something actually bad, I will say that I don't really, that's not my deal. But otherwise, I try to be very just encouraging to, because my thing is like, if you have a goal, I may not agree with it, but you're a go-getter and I want you to achieve that goal. Not saying that I personally agree with that goal, but it's your goal, go you. Right. But that's where like some of the, I just always find this gap that, oh, she's famous, but like she didn't go to college. Right. Or she's this, but like she's not an actress. So there's not one person doing all of it and doing all of it well. And someone who you would feel comfortable showing your daughter and saying you should be like her. Because in my opinion, either they are too niche, right? Or they are too popular and no substance, or very less substance, or they are overly substantial and not at all relatable to pop culture.
Right. And we are in this time period, like when we were discussing earlier, we live in an amazing time period where we're seeing all these changes. And some of it is a little bit too extreme, I feel personally, where we're kind of losing our edge. And it's like, no, let's bring it back a little bit, because we have this power. And I admire the people who use who have these platforms and use this power constructively to really help other women.
Totally. And again, and highlighting that substance, like that's something that's very like big for me, because and it's very like, I do feel shy about it. Like literally on Friday, I accepted a semiconductor campaign, it's like, honestly, on Instagram, I'm going to do this swipe up on stories, but Twitter, LinkedIn, I literally posted like a trailer of this video describing the power of semiconductors. To be honest, I was excited. I was like, no, this is great tech. But part of me was like, oh my God, like, is anyone even interested in this on Twitter, right? Like semiconductor is a very niche thing. It literally has now like just an ungodly number of impressions, which is views, and it's doing so well, and it has generated so much conversation. So
Yes,
because again, it's the engineers who are interacting, right? It's the people who
that's
have
great.
never heard of something like it. And so now I'm like so proud. I'm like, this is amazing. There's so much potential. Like,
Well,
why?
when they think of engineers, they don't think of somebody that looks like you.
Yeah, I think so. So no, she's stoked. Like the campaign manager is stoked. She's like, oh my God, send me all the metrics.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, it's like it's triple digit likes and retweets, which is huge for me. You know, like 100 plus retweets on a semiconductor video. Like this is great. So I'm just amazed at the possibility, and I encourage everybody to look beyond, because it's not just the superficial. People want
Right.
more. It is our duty to give them more. So I am just like not going to compromise, you know, because I get that. They're like, oh, post another selfie. And I'm like, I'll post a selfie when I want to post a selfie. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that because I know that you like that, you
Mhm.
know. So it's tough. And I get it. Like every time you try to be substantial, you get like, you know, this a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like someone has to do it, you know.
But you
And
slip it in. You
someone
just slip it in every now and then.
yeah, someone's self-made, because some other people I'm like, well, she's married to him though. Like we're not, like I'm even in the future, and I was like, I'm not gonna marry someone who's like famous. It's just not gonna happen. So he's gonna be like normal, and I can't like leverage his status to like,
Right.
you know, I just there's you know, he's just gonna be normal. So it's I guess I'm having a hard time finding like a relatable self-made example, because either, you know, she's dating this and like that's a big deal because he's a big deal, and I'm just like, man, come
Yeah.
on. You know this, but I didn't know about your writing. It's personal, but you know this. Like it's
Mhm.
so hard to find a self-made woman who's like substantial and
Mhm.
who's like on her own. You know, who's not standing
Yeah.
because of her husband and who she's
Right.
dating. You
And I
know.
think, and then there are women that are, but they're afraid to voice it for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Be proud of it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Like every time I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I supposed to be here? And I'm like, no, like there's nobody in that section that I want to be in, you
But
know?
you know what, though? Unfortunately for us, and we were talking about our ages, and I'm like 2 decades older than you.
You're amazing. Are you kidding? You look 26.
But even for me, like I didn't really embrace everything about me because
Yeah.
I feared, and I'm so happy that in your 20s are able to just go out there and be authentic and be you and not, and just really just let people know who you are and not be afraid of it. Because for me personally, it was really hard, even just starting this whole YouTube show and channel. Like my degree, I have a degree in broadcast journalism.
Yeah.
I've studied with like ABC, MTV back in the day, my college
Yeah.
days in New York. Yet I was like, oh God, well, what are people going to think?
Yeah.
YouTube's been around for a while. I'm not one of these kids that are so good at it. What are they
Yeah.
going to think? Are they going to? And there were people. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what people think. Like
For
I'm
sure.
putting something
For,
good out there, and
for,
I'm building it, and it's
for
going to
sure.
take time.
For sure.
And I had people embrace it, but of course there were the other ones. But I've learned to just like, you know what? They're just upset because they're not doing what they want to
For
do.
sure. For sure. And one thing that I've also noticed, and maybe you've noticed this too, Inez, is when you do what you're supposed to do and you do your thing, you
Mhm.
get the 10 people who get it.
Yeah.
And that means more to you than the 50 people who don't get it, you know? And I
Yeah.
think I've used that in my personal life because, as you know, when you build something, you
Mhm.
don't have time, you know, to party and to, you know, be with friends all the time. And also like for like the last 2 years, I've actually been a little bit off the grid socially.
Yeah.
What that's done though is because you and I are sharing what we're doing on social media, the right people
Mhm.
want to hang out with us, right? The right people are like, can we meet for lunch? Can we meet for dinner? And that's
Yeah.
so beautiful because you know that they understand what you're doing, they're proud of it, and they want to meet you, right? Because some
Mhm.
of the that I was having is like some people I wanted to meet, you know, no response or whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have time, you know? So now, like maybe you're facing these too, is people who reach out to you, they want to see you and they want to meet you. And
Mhm.
like, it's beautiful. So I am all for just doing your own thing because that truly attracts your tribe.
And that's so true what you said about like socially too, because so I actually went to like 2 Christmas parties yesterday. I was
Yeah.
exhausted. I felt like and everybody's asked me, you haven't been around. I'm like, yeah, my social calendar is like zero,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm happy. Like because
Yeah.
I'm really doing what I want. I love it. And I'll be back socially eventually, but
Yeah.
right now I'm focusing on me, where in the past I've always focused on pleasing other people. It's like, no, 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 let's get back and take care of me.
Yes, totally. No, I love it. No, I'm so proud because I think it takes real strength to say that, right? And to say that I'm backing out, I'm doing my own thing. I'm not going to be this social butterfly. I think that takes real strength. So I'm really proud of you. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Because it's first of all, it's exhausting. Can we just say that? Like constant, like parties and events. And it's just really exhausting.
It is. And you start, there was a time in my life where I felt like I had to be at every single event I was invited. Now it's like there's so much power in saying no. And I'm not being disrespectful or not wanting to see or be around people. It's just that right now, guess what, guys? It's time to take care of me. I've been taking care of you and saying yes, 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 yes. But when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, which is my own well-being.
For sure. Absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. And I'm so proud. I think it's, I got there I got there like at 23. I was like, I don't have time.
Good for you. And that's great. And you know what, when you were saying about the right people coming in, when I started doing this, just with my whole emotional intelligence business and just spreading good and being kind to people, and all the right people started coming into my life. I mean, the universe works in amazing ways. And when you let go of that fear of like, oh my God, what if I'm not showing up to this event? What am I missing out on? You're gaining so much more because you're bringing that right energy into your life.
Yes, totally. No, I'm 100%, 100%.
So I want to hear about earlier go-getters.
Yeah, the earlier people get that, like the better their life is going to be, 100%.
Absolutely. So tell me how you started the whole go-getters campaign, because you're always hashtag go-getters. I love it. It's very catchy. And
it is. No, I'm so proud of it because I didn't know the response, right? I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know what people would think because I'm someone a little bit stubborn. Maybe I shouldn't be so stubborn. But when I first wanted to start all of this, I didn't go around asking people. I didn't start with market surveys. I didn't start with, hey, this is my idea. What do you think? Because my thing was like, if I know that people need this and they need it, like they're going to like it, right? Like, why do I have to go around and get validation from everyone? I think I'm not a fan of getting validation from anyone. However, in this industry, you almost need it, right? Like if you the likes, you don't. I mean, So it's like a very catch-22. But basically, at Georgia Tech, as a senior, I would say, I definitely started hearing, "You're such a go-getter. You're such a go-getter. You've always been a go-getter as well. Isn't everyone a go-getter here at Georgia Tech?" I was still a student at Georgia Tech, right? Engineering school, science school. And I said, yeah, like they are totally. But like, what's different? Because I think something about me is I've always wanted to be different. I've always wanted to stand out. I've always wanted to create my own niche. So I guess for me, like being like, you're a go-getter, so is everyone else. Like that almost like wasn't enough for me. I was like, okay, great. But like, if everyone is, then like, what's different about me? And that's when I started thinking about like this guy versus girl thing, right? For a guy being a go-getter, it's like sexy, right? He's a go-getter, right? But for a girl, it's always like kind of, like not as sexy, it's just not, it's just not. And of course now it's changing. But for me, this was 4 years ago, 2014, it just wasn't, and that was really the catalyst. I said that, I guess the question was, why isn't being a go-getter as sexy for a woman as it is for a man?
Right.
And really that was the impetus. That was how everything started. Again, this is the story of my life. I mean, I didn't know anyone, and you know this better than anyone, Inez, that in this industry, media, publishing, celebrity, whatever you want to call it. I mean, without context, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
As in not even like they're your homie, but like they even know you exist.
Yeah.
Right? Because I wasn't even trying to get to the homie level. I was trying to get to like, does this person know I'm alive? And that was even difficult to do, So again, I leveraged what I had, which at the time was social media, LinkedIn, Twitter. By the way, my following was like 0 at that point. It was just like building 200, whatever, I don't know, little. But on LinkedIn was when I connected with an editor at Labor League, literally just like spammed her inbox. Like, I was like, hey, I'm here, would love to contribute. I don't even know how I figured out that they even accepted contributors, but somehow I figured out that they accepted contributors. So I literally just like messaged her, like honest to God, like 10, 15 times between LinkedIn and email. and said that, hey, like I want to contribute. You know, is there a way? I don't know how I knew that they were even accepting contributors,
Mhm.
but I figured that out somehow. And so I kept DMing her, messaging her, Twitter, everything, anything I could do,
Yeah.
because even then, Inez, 4 years ago, I knew that okay, I don't have connections, I don't have contacts because God bless Georgia Tech, but it's a science and engineering school. I
Yeah.
don't have connections here. Although, you know, headquarters of CNN, but
Mhm.
everyone's like, you can just go to CNN. And I was like, are you like ridiculous? Like, do you think
Shut up. Here I am.
you know, walk into CNN and everyone will be like, hey, how are you? Like, here's your show. Like, what are you expecting to happen when I reach out to CNN, right? Because so I
Yeah.
didn't do that. Reached out to her, finally, you know, got a response. She's like, yeah, hey, great. So my first article ever, like I never blogged before, never did anything, was called Inside the Mind of a
Mhm.
Go-Getter Girl.
Ah.
And for me, like that was very organic because go getter, go getter. And then I was like, wait, but like a girl is different, go getter girl. Like that's just literally how
I love
easy it
it.
was for me to come up with that. And then
Mhm.
guys, so go getter guy. And then my other thing was even then I was like, this is a brand. I know that this is gonna be the brand. I need this to be sustainable, right? So if I call it go getter woman, now all of a sudden every girl is like, I'm not a woman, right? And then to me, I was like, you're a guy for life, right? 7 year
Right.
old is a guy. 6 year old is a guy. I'm like, this is it, you know. And so I am getting a little pushback, being like, oh, I'm not a girl, I'm a woman. I'm like, deal with it, it's fine. You're a girl
Okay.
forever.
I'm in my 40s and I call myself a girly girl
Yeah.
still. So.
Yeah, because I don't, because people were like, I just tweeted, right? I was like, I'm a little girl with a big voice. I'm like, you're not a girl, you're a woman. I'm like, I'm calling myself a girl. Like, it's fine.
Again with the labels, right?
It's fine. Right, exactly. It's fine. And so that was the genesis. So my first article, Inside the Mind of a Go-Getter Girl, did really well, actually. And at that time, I had like 0 followers on Twitter. So like even 10 likes was like, this is viral. I'm going viral. Right. Because I'm using my like math, and I'm like percentage increase, like 0 to 10. That's like 4 digits, right? Like, yeah, percentage increase. So no, again, 10, you know, likes, and I was like, this is amazing. This is great. I think I sat on it for a little while. I was like, okay, like let me just like sit on it. But as it grew and it kept growing, so the 10 likes became 20 likes and 30 likes. And you know, at that point I had like 5 followers. So for me, 30 likes is a lot, you know,
Yeah.
for that. So that's when I was like, you know, I think this is like this. There's something going on here. You know, there's something going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it, like you said, is it a movement? Is it a campaign? Is it this? But and the other big thing for me is was I had people all over the world sharing that article on Twitter. Again, when I had my 5 followers, was not verified, wasn't none of this.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm a go-getter girl. And
Mhm.
I still remember like that was a moment for me because I was in my, you know, bedroom at home and I was like, ah, da, 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 da. And she was like, I'm a go-getter. And I was like, check location, Brazil, check location,
Oh, cool.
check location, China. And I was like, this is weird. Like
Yeah.
that, I wasn't expecting that, right? Like I was expecting, oh yes, great, ambition is awesome for everyone. But people started putting that title on them. And that was when I was like, isn't this the goal of every brand in the world to be like, I am Banana Republic, right?
Yeah.
I am J. Crew. Like, isn't this the holy grail of any brand to have the
Mhm.
person be like, I am the brand,
Yeah.
right? And that's when I was like, there's something going on here that maybe no one else can see, but like I can see.
Yeah.
And so then I went back to this lady. God bless this lady. And I said, this article did really well. And she was like, and I was like, no, it did. This is not a question. This is a statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I said, how about a follow-up? And the follow-up was 5 secrets of a go-getter girl.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was like, well, everybody like likes this. Like, let me tell people how I work, and this is like my story. And so then that article did even better, right? I think it was in the hundreds of likes, and this
Wow.
getting to hundreds, right? Big jump. So
Yeah.
I was stoked. And again, everybody was like, I'm a go-getter, I'm a go-getter. And I was like, oh my God, this is huge. I really think this is something. And so that article did well. I still remember December 2014, exactly 4 years ago, to the day, actually. Yeah. January came around, January 2015. I still remember the day. So my birthday is January 9th. January 5th, I got a many things. I got an email. I got a Facebook public page DM because by that time I had set up my
Okay.
Facebook public page. Again, like 2 followers or whatever.
Right.
But like it was there. It was there. It was there. Literally the email, I just saw it the other day actually. It was like, hey, her name is Haley. My name is Haley. I'm an editor at the Huffington Post. I just came across your article. Powerful blog post. Remember, powerful blog post. 5 Secrets of a Go-Getter Girl. I was just wondering if you are okay, like, with us republishing this on Huffington Post.
Oh.
And she's like, it's just very, not a big commitment, just let us know. We'll set you up, get you a login and this and that.
Yeah.
We just think this could be a powerful amplification for your voice. And, we think our readers would love it. Let me know, Haley. And it took me a while to process that, because my first question was like, how did she like even like know and this and that? And then later I found out, Inez, this was a totally independent process. This woman had never seen any of the tweets. This woman was never, like, she didn't even know that I was reaching out to them.
Wow.
So this was a totally independent, and like you said, like the universe, I really think someone was looking out for me, because this just wouldn't have happened. Especially HuffPost is a very, this tight network.
But what's important though in this whole, what you've been saying is inspired action.
Yeah.
It's very, now I wholly, like I teach about it too, like, energy levels in the universe.
Yes.
That is all true. However, you have to take action.
Yes,
you just
totally.
sit back and wait for things to happen.
Totally.
You are out there. Now,
totally. And I was struggling, by the way, I was struggling, I was really like, I was crying. I was like, because my thing is, something, and by the way, I treat this very seriously now, like someone with talent, like I just can't see them lose. Because to me, it's so unfortunate. Just because you don't have money or you don't have the right connections, like that to me is a very shitty reason for you to lose. Now, if you have no talent and you're trying to make it, then I'm like, well, I mean, do you really think that this is for you? Like, I'm going to ask you different questions. But for me, like, if you see my writing, you see my this, I'm like, I can't be the one to lose. You know what I mean? Like, this is just unfair. So I was hustling. I was struggling. But I was still trying, and so I still remember January 5th, 2015. It'll be like, I still have those screenshots, because you don't forget your first, you don't forget your first. That was my first, did extraordinary well, and that's when my tide changed. So that happened, so I called this publicist. I still remember March 2015. Again, it will be 4 years in March. And I told her, I said, what, do you like me? Like, what do you even like, what? And she's like, no, like, you're amazing, like, woman in business, like, that's your thing. There's not a whole lot of women doing that the way you are, because you're like empowering people. Not a lot of them are doing that. They're just like working on their business, right? Oh, and then she's like, you write for Huffington Post now. Like, I definitely think I want to work with you. And that for me was like a big thing, because even like to get a publicist, Inez, to say yes to working with you means that you are no longer a beginner, right? That you're sort of at the next level. So for me, like, that was a big moment. So I signed with her in March, and that's when like everything changed. And I was on like local TV, and that happened for a year. And so all of it was this go-getters thing, and everybody should be a go-getter. This is how you be a go-getter. And like, that was a part of the thing. But I talked about like STEM and how girls can code, and here's apps and like things for like daytime TV that are like weird. Like, no one's talking about how girls can code apps on daytime TV. So like, I felt very proud that I like inserted those themes into mainstream like television in Indiana and Colorado and all these like places that, it's just not norm. And then for them to see like an Indian girl, like, it's very different, like some places that I've already done, like Birmingham, Alabama, it's like it's different.
Well, you're breaking that stereotypical mold. And and also, I mean, you've talked about this on your social media, like about being of Indian descent. Do you get pushback like from your family for what you're doing?
Apps all the time, every day. And I have a theory that the minute you like become a millionaire, like, everybody just thinks you're God, and stops talking, right? So like, I'm just waiting for that moment. But like now, like, it's crazy. I mean, everyone, right? What is this? It's like, it's silly. Like, but what's happening, and I'm very proud of this, is social media is such a big influence now on society. And what's happening is like, my parents are going to, the Indian parties, I'm sure, like Chinese family parties, Puerto Rican family parties, how it is, friends of family. And what's happening is those people are like telling my dad that they follow me on Twitter. And then they're like amazed, and that's when my dad is like, oh, like, maybe this is like cool, so it's tough. I mean, every day is a struggle, especially for a female.
But where do you attribute your courage to be able to go after what you want and to walk away from like what you were expected to do prior?
Yeah. I think it's internal. I mean, for me, I grew up as an only child. My sister came a lot later when I was almost 13, right? So the first 13 years of my life, that's a long time. I was like alone,
Yeah.
warrior. So for me, it's like the just that reflection, and just that, self-belief, and that, vision. I'm literally sitting at my desk now, and I have all my awards. Like there's like this desk here, and it's all like oratory. I can show you. It's all oratory winner, oratory. And I was like, this is, and I even knew then, I was like, this is not normal. Like it is not normal for a 14-year-old child to win like awards, like her first year ever speaking. So even then I was like, this, like God has a plan. I don't know what it is, right? Because we don't know, we're not brought up that way. It's like, oh, you can be a speaker. Like no one even knows what that is. And so for me, I was like, this is like, I think this is what God wanted to do. And because for me, honestly, Inez, it was like it was media, looks, this, bold, hey, got it. Like literally that's what happened.